Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang, and welcome to this continuation of broadcasts on the concept of whole person health and health tips to help you stay on the journey. And the idea here is that we focus on physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, and sometimes on family health as ways to kind of get at the whole concept of whole person health. And the interconnectedness of health of body, mind, and spirit is really the key that I am focusing on, and I think is the most powerful model for how we can be healthy. Most people focus on one, maybe two of these areas. My encouragement to you is to focus on all three. Today we're going to focus on emotional health and how it can help you control high blood pressure. So the last several presentations have been on the concept of controlling high blood pressure. And high blood pressure is a pretty good model of stress-related conditions. While it's common in medicine to think of high blood pressure as a condition for which there really isn't a known cause, and it's called essential hypertension when we can't really label it as caused by the kidneys or some hormonal cause. For most people, it's a combination of metabolic changes that are going on in the body that I've referred to in the physical health components, but also it's combined with the effects of chronic stress in our lives. And if we control the chronic stress response and we control the metabolic changes that are going on, most people's blood pressure will melt away back to a normal range. So today I'd like to focus on emotional health briefly, and to emphasize that when we take a proactive approach to emotional health, that means taking steps to head off the negative effects of chronic stress, a proactive approach, then it helps to arm us against the negative effects of stress, especially as it pertains to high blood pressure. So one of the ideas that I'd like to suggest for you to consider today is the stability of sitting on a chair with many legs. Now, if you're sitting on a chair with 5 legs on it, the chances of somebody coming along, giving you a shove, knocking you over, very low. You're pretty stable. Now let's reduce that to 4 legs on that chair. Again, if somebody comes along and pushes you, you're very likely to be able to stay in your chair without being knocked off or the chair being knocked over. Now let's move that down to a three-legged chair. If somebody hits you from the right angle, they could get you to tip over more easily. To a 2-legged chair, of which of course nothing like that exists, from one angle you're pretty stable. From the other side, you could be pushed over very easily because there's only 2 legs popping you up. And finally, a 1-legged chair, which most people have never seen a 1-legged chair, but if you grew up on farms, the old-time farms, a milking stool often was just a 1-legged stool where the farmer would position the stool underneath them. Obviously, there's a lot of room to wobble. The point of it being it's a very unstable chair. It depends totally on your balance on the chair, and somebody pushing from the right angle would easily push you over. Now imagine that chronic stress is the thing that is pushing at you. The more chairs there are on, the more legs there are on your chair, the more stable you will be. Now there's several different legs that you can put into your particular chair that you're sitting on that automatically improve the emotional stability that's going on inside of you and make you much more resistant to feeling all stressed out from things that are going on in your life. And the 5 areas that I want to focus on are family relationships, friendships, relationship with God, decreasing the stress in your work, and having some playtime every day. Now, if you spend time in these 5 areas each day and week, you're basically building emotional stability. They're like 5 different legs on a chair, and when the inevitable stresses of life come against you, it doesn't feel like that big of a deal. You may not even notice it as a stressful circumstance, where somebody who's sitting on a 1-legged chair, as many people are, they may maybe invest everything in their work and nothing else. When big stresses hit them, they wobble or they fall over. It's perceived as a much more stressful circumstance. So my encouragement to you today is to spend time working each day or week on these 5 legs of the chair. In other areas, other videos, I go into a lot more detail on how you work on each one of these 5 areas, but I want to kind of put it all together real briefly to have you think about these are the 5 areas that will really provide emotional stability for me. Relationship with God, relationship with family members, relationship with friends, making my work less stressful, and having some playtime. I encourage you to find ways to work on these 5 areas every day. It will diminish the stress in your life. It's the best stress management tool. And from a Christian perspective, the relationship with God is the core part of those 5 areas. That's the one that you want to definitely focus on if you're serious about having the kind of balance in your life that brings true stability in stressful circumstances. So I wish you well with this. God bless and have a great day.